CBDC to replace the American dollar. In this week's videos, I'm going to break down. We're going to have a series of videos this week to work to make the complex simple. I'm going to show you facts, figures, numbers, logic, how first they resist it, then they sue it, then they regulate it. Now we're heading into the joining phase. My name is Coach JV. As I said, I make the complex simple. We've helped over 7,000 people worldwide since 2020 get their shit together in the craziest economic times in the world. In the description down below, we have a education academy. I want to share with you guys, I will never proactively DM you, never send anybody pretending to be me money. I want to protect you guys. Also, we have a licensed insurance team. I'm a licensed insurance agent. I have agents all over the United States helping people with the infinity banking concept. So when your crypto booms, we teach you how we secure, compound, and grow like the richest man in Babylon. In the description down below of this video is a free consultation. Never send anybody money. We do not have an investment platform. All right, so let's dive into it. So this week, as I said, I'm going to be breaking down, and I do apologize if you were watching the last video, the audio was messed up, so I'm redoing this video here. But I'm going to show you a video from Jerome Powell a year ago, okay, talking about central bank digital currencies or the digital dollar. We're also going to break down the significance of July and what I think is happening on the back end. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday's video, I'm going to be breaking down the American dollar and the deflating American dollar. What we can understand is we're in a massive transition of our financial system from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, from industrial to technical. The old archaic banking system is dying off. You're not going to stop it from coming in. I don't agree with the central bank digital currency or programmable money, but I don't think we're going to stop the train. We have to listen to what they're saying, position our investments so that we can be on the right end of this, because the middle class is getting wiped out, leverage towards technology, working down to the working poor. There's going to be the poor, working poor, and very, very wealthy. And I hope that you're on the right side of the coin. So let's watch this first video. Then I'm going to break down the facts, figures, numbers, logic, and show you that only 35 banks are part of FedNow services. So don't get panicked. Just understand there's a massive transition. It's going to take a while, but everything is going to be operating on a blockchain and a digital currency.
Good morning, Julie. That's right. Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell speaking earlier today on a panel at the Bank of International Settlements Innovation Summit on central bank digital currencies, saying that innovation in the financial sector is here to stay. And this is just the beginning of the journey. Powell said,
so key, innovation is here to stay, and this is just the beginning of the journey.
Quote, novel technology like distributed ledger and decentralized finance have the potential to improve efficiency of the payment system and encourage a more competitive financial landscape. Now, Powell says the Fed has not made a decision yet on whether to pursue a central bank digital currency yet. He says, though, as part of
yet is the key word. Remember, first they resist it, then they sue it, then they regulate it. This is a systematic shift to real-time payments. So the first shift is real-time payments, on-demand liquidity, money moving 365 days a year, 24/7 from cutoff time. So no, that's the first step in the transition.
Part of that process, the Fed is engaging with other central banks on CBDCs to move a roadmap forward, since they would need to coordinate on the technology to ensure proper transfer of monetary policy.
Okay, so that was key. They're coordinating with other central banks, which I'm going to show you throughout the rest of the week, the Bank of International Settlements and G20, how they're coordinating to have global regulation around crypto and digital assets by 2023.
Payments. Now, Powell also says that financial regulations have not been built for cryptocurrencies and CBDCs, and that new changes and even new rules will be required. He says the Fed is looking at addressing those regulatory gaps around digital assets and how they will work in the banking system. Powell also warned that we don't know how some digital products will act during times of market stress and could lead to destabilizing capital flows. And on the flip side, we don't know how stresses in the crypto market could spill out into traditional financial markets. Now, Powell's comments coming after the central bank put out a white paper earlier this year on the pros and cons of pursuing a central bank digital currency. Powell saying today that privacy and guarding against illicit activity are top of mind for the Federal Reserve right now in designing one of those. Julie?
Okay, so we are now in the implementation and regulation phase. Okay, so I want to show you the narrative that I see within my own logical circuit. So this was on July 20th, 2023. Fed dramatically speeds up U.S. payments with FedNow, but downplays the use of a CBDC. Of course, they're going to downplay it. And what you're going to see within the presidential candidacy going into 2024 by November 4th, they're going to be playing this like DeSantis, right? I'm Bitcoin friendly. I'm going to be decentralized, right? When they get into the presidential role, they're the head of a corporation, guys. When they could say anything they want in their campaign. Think about this. How many of the presidents that sit in the seat have done what they said they were going to do? Just digest that for just a moment. That's why we swing left. That's why we swing right. And when we look this way, there's another narrative going on this way. It's nothing new under the sun. So they're going to tell you that we're not moving towards programmable money, central bank digital currency, but that is the future. Okay. So is it ironic? Isn't it ironic that at the exact same time, Ripple Labs notches landmark win in SEC case over XRP being a cryptocurrency, right? At the exact same time, FedNow Services launches, Judge Torres makes a ruling on XRP not being a security, being a bridge currency. I don't know. It's just weird timing, right? December 20th, 2020, they initiated the case against Ripple, Jay Clayton, who left to go consult now for the bank bail-in committees. Think about that. He's on the board of directors for the bank bail-in committees for the FDIC now. Go type in Jay Clayton and chat GPT and see how many boards he sits on that move the financial system. So he initiated the case. He bounced out early, went to go consult for many different firms, a crypto firm, and the bank bailing committees, right? So think about that for just a moment. The exact same time, I don't know if there's a correlation here, but we have to use our logical circuit. We're all speculating, right? But this is interesting too. And throughout the week, I'm going to show you some pretty powerful videos that are going to help you develop discernment when you make your decisions versus getting fudded in and fudded out of these meme coins and influencers saying that they have the insight. None of us have the insight, guys. We are not getting the information, and nor does we won't go into that. Okay. So Federal Reserve launches real-time payment system in first big upgrade since 1970. The U.S. central bank's move will enable Americans to move money electronically in seconds. And I'm going to give you another narrative at the back end of this. Okay. So this is now hitting the news, all over the news. FedNow Services, XRP, they're now conditioning us to get ready for real-time payments.
Your bank account. The Federal Reserve announcing it has gone live with its new FedNow instant payment system, a system that should allow households and businesses to send payments and receive money immediately without those troubling 3-day holds on checks and waiting for payments to clear in the sender's account and waiting for the bank to open on Monday or after a holiday. The FedNow system is an instant payment system. It's available 24/7, 365 days a year. To begin with, 35 banks and 16 service providers have already signed up. Those banks include things like JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, as well as smaller credit unions and other.
And this is key, guys. Only 35 banks. A lot of these influencers saying, oh, a switch has been flipped. There's only 35 banks on FedNow Services, guys. This is a long, drawn out process. So in order to get liquidity into the banks, think about this for just a moment. When we hit 2020, when they gave stimulus checks, people weren't getting their stimulus checks. Dead people were getting stimulus checks. Cats were getting stimulus checks. So a great narrative would be when the middle class gets wiped out, leverage towards technology, moving down to the working poor with interest rates being super high and people not being able to afford to live and the job market's collapsing down in Q3 now and Q4 and going into 2024 as they continue to raise interest rates to cool inflation. When you need stimulus and they start to slow down interest rates and start to pump the money back in quantitative easing because money can move, velocity of money will pick up. Interesting. They will share with you that we will get you your check right away with FedNow Services. And then every single bank will want to implement FedNow Services because they have a liquidity crisis. Because when they deposit into your FedNow Services wallet, if it's connected to your local bank, where's that deposit going to go? It's going to go into the bank, and that's a fixed account. That gets liquidity into the bank. It gets their profits going again because they make money in 3 ways: interest income, fee income, and capital markets income. So if your FedNow Services check goes into the Wells Fargo Bank, Chase Bank, Bank of America, a local credit union, they now have liquidity. And then when they have liquidity, they can make money in interest income, fee income, and capital markets income and index your money like we do in the Affinity banking concept. Okay. So that's just my perception on it. And I just want to show you proof here. It says from the Federal Reserve website to start 35 early adopting banks and credit unions, as well as U.S. Department of Treasury Bureau and key U.S. Department of Treasury Bureau, and the Fiscal Services are ready with instant payments capabilities. So they'll be able to get your stimulus check right away, universal basic income, when the public can no longer survive. So if you're wondering who is participating here, here's a list of participants. So if you want to dive into this and go down the rabbit hole, you got JP Morgan, bigger ones, Wells Fargo Bank, US Bank, and then here's the settlement agent liquidity providers. BYN Mellon is one of them. Any big ones that we know here? Vizzo Financial Corporation. So you can go through and go down the rabbit hole with these companies and see who they're connected with, which we enjoy doing. Certified service providers. Here's the service providers. So you guys can go down the rabbit hole if you want to pause this video and go down this rabbit hole with these service providers. But what I'm here to share with you guys, are we moving to a central bank digital currency? I don't know. I don't run the monetary system, but logic tells me we are. These are just steps towards a new digital programmable money, financial inclusion, getting everybody into the system. First, they resisted it by telling you cryptocurrency is a fraud, that you were a criminal if you invested in it or you traded it, that it was used for money laundering in 2017. At the same time, they were setting up their own blockchain technologies. 2021, we had a shock to the system, changed consumer behaviors. They could reduce coin and cash usage, and they could change the behaviors of consumers. For example, my mom always went to the bank on Friday, still does a check ledger, but her behaviors changed, a baby boomers, because her bank actually shut down. So now she uses bill pay, she checks online, so it changed consumer behaviors. The largest amount of wealth sits with the baby boomers, and we're transitioning these baby boomers into a new digital age. You're not going to stop the freight train, okay? What we have to understand at a deep level is that this change is here to stay. It's transitioning, and all countries, all central banks, specifically banks and countries, are in a very, very dangerous financial position. The can got kicked down the road for a very, very long time. And on Friday's video, there's going to be a series Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, I'm going to show you the deflating dollar. And this is nothing to fear, guys, because you can take action. It doesn't matter who comes in president in November 4th, 2024. The pendulum's going to swing all the way over the other way, right? The president is the head of a corporation, right? The corporation right now is bankrupt. That's a fact. We are bankrupt, 120% debt to income ratio. They have to borrow and raise the debt ceiling to pay for critical services. Critical services, guys. Think about that for just a moment. 33% of our debt is held outside the United States by Japan and China. China owns a bunch of our stuff over here. Guys, it's just a transition of a superpower. That's what it is. America is the sloppiest country in the world. Unfortunately, I'm proud to be an American. I serve my country as well, guys. But I'm not proud to see what's happening with our economy. I'm not proud to see the destruction, how Americans are going against each other when we are more alike than we are apart. But it's all by design. Left and right is designed to get us to fight. There is no invisible enemy. There's no reason to go out and fight against anybody. It's your actions, your behaviors, your discipline, your consistency done for a long enough period of time that will change your reality. You're all looking for a savior. I'm not saying you specifically, sorry, but people are looking for a savior outside of them. If they say, look in the sky, the birds will precede you. If they say, look in the ocean, the fish will precede you. And the whole time you'll realize after all these elections come and all the chaos comes that you were always the king or the queen, and you could have took action, because in the beginning is the end. In the end, you'll find out at the beginning. So when you get off this video, it's your decisions, your behaviors, your action, your discipline, your consistency, what is going to change the current paradigm that you live in. And a couple years from now, what are your kids going to say? What are your grandkids going to say? What did you do during the biggest shift in financial wealth in history? So number one is cryptocurrency is a very speculative asset. It's going to continue to be speculative till full regulation is on board. Your banks are going to come on board, I promise you. And when the institutions come on, it's going to go absolutely parabolic. Number two is you need to have an exit plan. And when you exit, you need to make sure that you secure, compound, and grow. We use things like Index Universal Life. We're going to be getting into real estate, going vertical. We know that people are going to be going into multifamily next year because it's so expensive to live in a single family home now. Okay, so we're going to start moving towards single multifamily. Okay, we also are investing diversified in business, precious metals, securing, growing, compounding. Business is the best way to beat inflation. Business is a great way to increase your earned income so you can multiply that like the richest man in Babylon. So if you need support, we've helped over 7,000 warriors worldwide. It is not an investment platform. It's an education platform, and it's helping you get your shit together, because it's not what you think, guys. It's not money. It's here and here. And this is the greatest time in human history to work harder on yourself than you do anything else. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have an awesome week. This week should be a great series of videos. I hope that you enjoy it. I love you guys very, very much. As we always say, warriors Rise, get your shit together. Let's go.